and I wanted to talk about what do we do when we're not okay. There's such an interesting thread on in this group when I posted that stages of spiritual awakening in the group, and I thought it was really interesting to see where people identified themselves to be. And also, really heard some people saying in that group that they don't feel like they're okay, like we're stuck in kind of like the pain cycle of this loop, right? So I just wanted to talk about that. What do we do when we're not okay? And especially what do we do when we're not okay and we're healers, we're supposed to be okay. Or we're spiritual people and we think we need to be okay all the time. And I just want to share my experience really, which is that for me, I know that I'm going through this like a process of unfoldment, and it's a lot like a spiral, and I think of a spiral going kind of deeper and deeper and deeper. And sometimes on the edge of there's an edge of the spiral, or one of my spiritual teacher talks about as a wheel that's spinning. And when we're on the upside of the wheel, we feel pretty good. We're in the flow, everything's great. There's sort of natural movement in our lives. We're moving forward. We're feeling that forward progression. And then the wheel goes down again and we feel like we're kind of back in the muck. And I think it's really important to embrace this as sort of a natural growth cycle. Like we grow, we contract, or we grow until we hit a level of stuff that needs to be healed in us. And when we go through that healing, then we grow some more. And I think that sometimes we can get stuck in this idea that we're supposed to be happy all the time. There's something wrong with us if we're not happy. How can we be spiritual leaders and healers if we're all messed up? And I just really want to take a moment to honor, first of all, if you're not okay, and there's a lot of reasons to be not okay right now, to really honor that it's okay. Like, it's okay. You're still brilliant. You're still amazing. You still are incredible Reiki practitioner, psychic, or healer. And let's maybe drop the idea that we're supposed to be happy all the time, and that there's something wrong with us if we're not. We are allowed to have a full range of emotions. It's a normal human process to have this whole range of emotions, like those coloring, those crayon boxes you used to get when you were little that had like the 64 crayons in them or the 100 crayons in them. Like, we are meant to have this full range of emotions. And as we are able inside of ourselves to touch all of those emotions, and as we are able to work through of our own stuff, we show up for our clients and our Reiki clients, are just the people in our life, in a much different way, right? So every time, I like this spiral, this sort of downward spiral idea. The wheel seems like we're just repeating the same stuff over and over again, and I don't think we are. I think we actually work through something, and then we hit a deeper level, and even if we're coming back to our same, this, it feels like the same issues over and over again, we're working them at a deeper level. We're kind of pulling out our getting closer to the bone every time we address them. Now, I think leaning into it is really the best. That's what I do. So I lean into it. I don't run away from it. I even get like a little excited when I get triggered about something. Now I'm like, oh, good. Here's something like really juicy that when I can work through it. And when I work through it, I'm going to let it go. And I'm never going to have to sort of deal with that particular part of it again. It's like, you clean it out and that piece is gone. And even though you may be coming back to it at a deeper level, that particular piece is gone. But we get stuck, right? If we don't lean into it and we don't process through our emotions and the energy that we're holding on to, we get stuck. And so when people tell me that they're stuck, and that's actually, I would say probably half the people who come to me for psychic readings and energy healing sessions come because they're stuck. They're like, I can't move forward. The other half are coming because they're in some crisis or transition, and they're in the soup of it. But if you have the stuck energy, then what we have to do is move energy. So it's usually blocked emotion or blocked actually energy in our body. And so what we can do to loosen that up is begin to move energy, begin to move emotion. So maybe you're really angry and it needs to get cleaned out and expressed, and you may stay stuck until you do. Maybe you're really sad and you have unhealed grief, or really hurt, and there's sort of a wound in there that needs to be addressed, right? And then I see, like, at the back end of that continuum, depression is like the most severe form of stuckness, where we have so much anger and grief and loss and pain that, and when we focus it inwards towards ourselves, it can create really serious depression. And that's also a case where we really need to move our energy and emotions in order to get to sort of forward move our life again, And we have all these sort of, vows, ideas, programming that tells us why we can't do that or why we shouldn't do that, or we don't even know how to do that, right? So here's a couple of things that I find especially works for me, it works for my clients. You want to find a healthy way to express your feelings in a healthy way. So maybe that, and I think we need a daily practice of this. Maybe it's journaling, meditating, doing EFT or tapping, talking to yourself. I just sometimes talk to myself out loud, to express all your feels. And we try really hard not to take it out on the other people around us, right? So we're squishing our feelings, and then you're yelling at your kid or your spouse, or you're screaming at the TV, or whatever you're doing, that's sort of like squeezing it out in sideways in an unhealthy way. We want to fully own our feelings and find a healthy way for us to express them ourselves. Now, if we have a lot of trauma in our lives, we really need to get with a healer, because that's another thing that can create stuckness in our forward progress, is when we have unprocessed, unhealed trauma. And if you have that, you got to get help. You got to work with a healer. You got to work with a therapist. I think, especially with trauma, we need sort of an all-angle approach: body work, energy work, talk therapy, somatic therapy, expressive things like, exercise, like banging pillows, cathartic work. Like, we need to kind of handle it on all, and even spiritual work. We need to handle it on all levels, and the worse the trauma is, the more critical it is to do that. So I think the other thing that really works if you're feeling stuck is to find a way to move energy in your body. Do some Reiki, do some self-Reiki, do some yoga, have some sex. Fantastic way to move stuck energy in your body. Any way you can get it, have it, as long as it feels healthy and good for you. So walking, exercise, kickboxing if you need to move anger. I just keep coming back to yoga as being such a fantastic way. It's really designed to clear the energy meridians on your body and to open up and clear the chakras, right? So getting out in nature too, super powerful way to move stuck energy. Breathing, so important, right? So we know we need to breathe to move stuck energy. And then also, I think during this time, one thing that I'm noticing is that all of you guys, so many of you guys here are sensitives, right? So if you're a sensitive and you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and not okay, you need to make sure you're not holding energy for other people. So much of us are absorbing the energy of the collective right now. So you may be in a house and you're, with your family, and you're absorbing the collective energy of the people that are around you, your friends, your community, or the collective as a general, in, big collective, the earth collective, the human collective. And it's super overwhelming to tap into that right now. So we need to buckle down on our daily energy management practices. We need to do our grounding, clear, empaths are psychic sponges. We need to squeeze the sponge. We need to replace our lost energy, and then we need to bubble up and do some protective stuff. And I have already a ton of videos here on this website. If you go into the video section, you're going to see lots and lots of videos on how to ground, how to clear, how to protect. So double down on it. We forget. We go under stress and we forget that we need to do it. This is a time to double down on your energy management practices. If you feel like part of your thing is that you're picking up other stuff, which it probably is. Okay. So that being said, I also wanted to just talk for a minute about what do we do if we're really in the dark night of the soul. I mean, there's your common variety, I'm not okay, because it's really difficult out there. You're going through things. Your family is going through things. There's sort of that version of you're not okay. And then there's the really you're not okay. And that's this thing that we call the dark night of the soul. I think it happens to everyone, once or twice in your life. And it's intense. It's sort of an initiation experience, and it's not something to fluff off. It can take months or years to move out of it. And if you are in that state right now, I just also want to honor you and send you some love. It's a really painful and difficult thing to go through a dark night of the soul. And we never actually choose initiation experiences that I can see. I mean, okay, maybe you decide you're gonna take some ayahuasca, or you're gonna go like work with a shaman or something, and sometimes we have really powerful initiation experiences when we do that, but the real mama whammy initiation experiences are things that happen to us. They choose us. It could be illness, the loss of a loved one, death, divorce, total life crash and burn, which many people are experiencing right now, all of those things. And when things collapse like that, it literally like hits us in our ego, hits us in our identity. And an initiation experience is a powerful transformation experience. You are not the same on the other side of it. Whatever, it's like going through the eye of the needle. You're not the same person. You're changed. You're transformed in some powerful way. And it almost always happens because we've done a ton of growth. It's like we're like the snail that outgrew its shell, or if you know the tarot, it's the Tower card in the tarot. And I love that card. It's, the lightning strikes the tower, the crown of the tower falls off. So that's the lightning strike, like of illumination, which literally blows open your crown chakra. And then the tower, and if you look at that card, you'll notice the tower is very skinny. So, and it's starting to fall down. And so what that means is the life that you made for yourself is now too small for you. You've done so much growth, so much transformation that you don't fit inside that little life anymore. And it needs to blow up. And we have this like the total life crash and burn. We have to recreate our life in because that a new life that suits our new resonance in some more authentic way. We're always getting an upgrade, even though it seems like we're not sometimes. And it's just really difficult to go through. There's no really getting around how hard that is. So if you are having a dark night of the soul, we need extra help. You really need to be in the care of like a spiritual teacher, a really good set of healers working with you. And I think, it's kind of sometimes we just have to wait for the circumstances of the world to change in a way that allow us some freedom on the other side of it. I think of the dark night of the soul as a lot like giving birth, right? Once we're in the process, we have to just sit, we have to endure it. We have to like, you can't be like, check please, like actually I don't really want to do this, like make it stop, like I'm done, we have to finish the process, and it has its own time, just like labor does. 3 hours into it, you're like, I'm done, and no, like it goes until it's done going. And there's a surrender that we have to do if we're in the dark night of the soul. Spiritual practice can be very, very, very powerful. Prayer, meditation, faith, connecting with a spiritual teacher, and then being really, really, really kind to yourself and doing a ton of self-care in the moments when you can get it is kind of how I think we have to, the way that we get through a dark night of the soul. And then, this too shall pass. Like this, what we're going through collectively, this will pass. Whatever you're in the middle, if you're not okay, that will also pass. And then think about, how you can support yourself so that if you're going through a difficult time, you're not sort of throwing yourself under the bus. You're attending to yourself with as much love and compassion as you can. And I know that as healers, when we do that, whatever we've gone through is now something that we have available to give to our clients. We can now help them in some pretty powerful ways we always have to do it ourselves. Like we have to walk our talk. And once we've been through something, we're like, I gotcha, when our clients come for that. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I'd love to hear any comments that you have or thoughts about this in the chat. So and also, if I can help you, please let me know. I usually have available, I always have available little 15-minute calls. You can come and speak to me, since I just want to support you guys. And if there's a way that I can help you, I will try to do that. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.